In today's lecture, we will discuss electric potential, potential difference, electric potential energy, electric potential due to a point charge, equipotential lines, equipotential surface, potential gradient, and electron volt. Electric potential. Electric potential is defined as the amount of work needed to move a unit charge from a reference point to specific point inside the field is called electric potential. Actually, when we move a point charge from any reference point towards the electric field of a source charge to a specific point, we do work to move a point charge from a reference point to a specific point, and this work done on a point charge to move it is called as electric field. It is represented by capital V. Its formula is V is equals to W upon Q. Here W is work done and Q is magnitude of charge. Unit of electric potential is joule per coulomb or volts. Potential difference. It is same as electric potential. Here we take the difference of two electric potentials to get the potential difference. But the important point here is electrostatic equilibrium is maintained. According to the definition of potential difference, the amount of work done in moving a unit charge from one point to another point, keeping the charge in electrostatic equilibrium inside the field, is called potential difference. It means that movement of charge is done in electrostatic equilibrium. When we move a unit charge from one point to another point, we keep the electrostatic equilibrium. So we get the potential difference when we move a unit charge from one point to another point in electrostatic equilibrium. It is represented by delta V. Its formula is delta V is equals to W upon Q. W is work done and Q is magnitude of charge. In SI system, it can be measured in volts. Electric potential energy due to point charge. Now we are going to derive the formula of electric potential energy due to point charge. Consider an isolated point charge plus Q fixed in space. If a test charge Q is placed at infinity, the force on it due to charge plus Q is 0. Because test charge is at infinity and point charge is located at a space, so the force due to point charge on test charge is 0 because it is far from the electric field of point charge. Now we move this test charge from point infinity to point A, so we do some work on this test charge. At point A, this test charge will experience some force due to this point charge because now it's near to the field of this point charge. We have to calculate the electric potential energy at point B, so we divide the distance from point A to point B into small paths. These small paths are represented by point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point N and till point B. Distance from point 1 to point charge is R1. Distance from point 2 to point charge is R2. Distance from point 3 to point charge is R3. Distance from point N to point charge is Rn. Distance from point B to point charge is Rb. Small distance from point A to point 1 is delta R, that is equals to Ra minus R1. Small distance from point 1 to point 2 is delta R, that is equals to R1 minus R2. Small distance from point N to point B is delta R, that is equals to Rn minus Rb. As the test charge is at infinity, so work is required to be done to bring it to point A. Hence, when the test charge is at potential A, it has some amount of electric potential energy. Because it is near to the field of this point charge, electric field does not remain constant. In order to keep electric field intensity constant, the test charge is moved through small displacement delta r. We have divided the distance from A to B into small paths to keep the electric field intensity constant. Because we are doing some work on this test charge to move it in the electric field of point charge, so this work done can be represented as delta W is equals to dot product of force and displacement delta R, which gives us delta W is equals to F delta R cos theta. Here theta is equals to 180 degree. Because both charges are positive, so point charge is repelling this test charge. And we are moving this test charge against the field of this point charge. So the direction of force and displacement are opposite to each other. That's why we put here theta is equals to 180 degree. 1 cos 180 degree gives us -1 and we get delta W is equals to minus F delta R. By putting the value of F, we get delta W is equals to minus into minus EQ delta R. Here negative sign with E represents that electric field is outward from the positive point charge and we are moving test charge towards this field. So that's why we put minus EQ. And finally we get delta W is equals to EQ delta R. Let's see it equation number A. By putting the value of E in equation A, we get delta W is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square into Q delta R. We derived this value of E in previous lecture and we get delta W is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square into delta R. Now let the test charge is at a large distance RA from charge Q. We divide the distance between RA and RB into n number of small equal displacement delta R. Because the test charge is at point A, so the distance between test charge and point charge at point A is represented by RA. We want to calculate the electric potential energy at point B. So we divide the distance from point A to point B into a small displacement delta R because we want to keep electrostatic equilibrium. So for keeping electric field intensity constant, we have divided the distance into small paths from RA to RB. We have moved the test charge from point infinity to point A. Now we will move the test charge from point A to point 1 and then from point 1 to point 2, from point 2 to point 3 and then from point 3 to point 4 till point N and from point N to point B. For moving this test charge, we are doing work on this test charge. The amount of work done from point A to point 1 can be calculated as delta W A to 1 is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square into delta R. Let's say it equation number B. For finding the value of R square, we take the average distance between R1 and RA, that is R is equals to R1 plus RA divided by 2. Delta R is the difference between paths, that is delta R is equals to RA minus R1. By shifting R1 towards the second side of equation, we get RA is equals to delta R plus R1. By putting the value of RA in equation number C, we get R is equals to R1 plus delta R plus R1 divided by 2. R1 plus R1 give us 2R1, and then we get R is equals to 2R1 plus delta R divided by 2. By dividing denominator with numerator separately, we get R is equals to 2R1 divided by 2 plus delta R divided by 2. 2 is cancelled by 2, and then we get R is equals to R1 plus delta R divided by 2. By squaring the above equation, we get R square is equals to R1 square plus 2R1 delta R divided by 2 plus delta R divided by 2 whole square. We get this equation by using formula a plus b whole square is equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. Delta R is small as compared to R1 and RA, so neglect it. R square is equals to R1 square plus R1 delta R. By putting the value of delta R, which is delta R is equals to RA minus R1, we get R square is equals to R1 square plus R1 into RA minus R1. We get R square is equals to R1 into RA. By putting all the values in equation number B, we get delta W A to 1 is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q divided by R1 into RA multiplied by RA minus R1. By separating the denominator with numerator, we get delta W A to 1 is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by RA divided by R1 into RA minus R1 divided by R1 into RA. RA is cancelled by RA and R1 is cancelled by R1, and finally we get delta W A to 1 is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon RA. The amount of work done from point 1 to point 2 can be calculated as delta W 1 to 2 is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q divided by R square multiplied by delta R. By putting the values of delta R and R in this equation, we get delta W 1 to 2 is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q divided by R1 into R2 multiplied by R1 minus R2. And finally we get delta W 1 to 2 is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by R1 divided by R1 into R2 minus R2 divided by R1 into R2. R1 is cancelled by R1 and R2 is cancelled by R2, and then we get delta W 1 to 2 is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R1. The amount of work done from point N to point B can be calculated as delta W from point N to point B is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q divided by R square into delta R. By putting the value of delta R and R square, we get delta W N to B is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q divided by Rn Rp into Rn minus Rp. And then we get delta Wn to B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Rn divided by Rn into Rb minus Rb divided by Rn into Rb. Rn is cancelled by Rn and Rb is cancelled by Rb, and then finally we get delta W from point N to point B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon Rb minus 1 upon Rn. Hence, the total work done in moving a charge Q from point A to point B can be calculated as. Now we can sum up all the work done from point A to point B. As we have already calculated the work done from point A to point 1 and work done for bringing a charge from point 1 to point 2 and then from point 2 to point 3 and then from point N to point B. So by summing up all the individual work done, we can get work done from point A to point B, that is delta W from point A to point B is equals to delta W from point A to point 1 plus delta W from point 1 to point 2 plus so on till delta W from point N to point B. By putting the values of individual work done, we get delta W A to B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon RA plus Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R1 plus so on till plus Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon Rb minus 1 upon Rn. As you can see that Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught is same in this equation, so we can take it as common, and then we get delta W from point A to point B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon Ra plus 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R1 plus so on till plus 1 upon Rb minus 1 upon Rn. Here all the terms which are same but opposite in sign are cancelled, and then we get delta W A to B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by minus 1 upon Ra plus 1 upon Rb. By rearranging the terms, we get delta W from point A to point B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon Rb minus 1 upon Ra. This is the work done for moving a test charge from point A to point B. The work done to move a test charge Q from infinity to point B can be calculated as delta W from point infinity to point B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by 1 upon Rb minus 1 upon infinity. As we know that number divided by infinity is equals to 0, so by putting 1 upon infinity is equals to 0, we get work done delta W from point infinity to point B is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon Rb. The electric potential energy at distance r from Q is delta W is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon r. Actually, we took point B as a reference point, and we can take any point near to the point charge So we take the distance from point charge to point infinity at the point where the test charge is placed as r, and we get delta W is equals to q into q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon r. This is the expression to find electric potential energy. So from this equation we can calculate the electric potential energy. And for calculating the electric potential due to a point charge, we know that the electric potential at distance r from q is V is equals to work done per unit charge. Putting the value of work done, we get V is equals to Q into Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 upon R, and whole term is divided by Q, and then by cancelling Q with Q we get V is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R, and this is the formula for calculating electric potential. So the above equation is used to calculate the electric potential due to point charge. Question. Show that the units of electric field can also be written as volts per meter. As we know that force per unit charge is equals to electric field intensity, unit of force is Newton and unit of charge is Coulomb. So by putting both the units we get unit of electric field intensity, that is Newton per Coulomb. Newton per Coulomb is 1 unit of electric field. Now we have to derive another unit of electric field, that is volts per meter. So from this unit Newton per Coulomb we can derive unit volts per meter. We can multiply and divide m, and we get 1 Newton per Coulomb is equals to Newton meter divided by Coulomb into meter. Newton meter is equals to joules. So we put joules and get 1 Newton meter per Coulomb meter is equals to 1 joules per Coulomb meter. For remembering 1 Newton meter is equals to 1 joules, you can take help from formula work done is equals to F dot D. Unit of work done is joules and unit of force is Newton, unit of displacement is meter. So by putting the values of all quantities you will get 1 joules is equals to 1 Newton meter, and from there we can put Newton meter is equals to 1 joule. 1 joules per coulomb is equals to 1 volts. Putting joules per coulomb is equals to volt, we get 1 joules per coulomb meter is equals to 1 volt per meter. From this we got to know that we can write the unit of electric field as volt per meter. So electric field has two units, Newton per coulomb or volt per meter. Our next topic is equipotential lines. Equipotential is combination of two words, equi and potential. Equi means same and potential we have already discussed. So from definition, the imaginary lines at which electric potential is same at every point are called equipotential lines. An equipotential line connects points in space where the potential of an electric field is same. Suppose that we place a positive charge q in space, and around this we connect all the points where the electric potential is same, and we get equipotential lines from these imaginary lines. Equipotential lines are always drawn perpendicular to electric field lines, as we know that from a positive charge electric field lines initiate and electric field lines are radially outward from a positive charge. So from this figure you can see that electric field lines are perpendicular to the equipotential lines. If there are two or more charges present, then the potential at any point is sum of the potentials due to each charge. Here in this figure you can see that there are two charges So we sum up potential of both charges at any point to get the electric potential at that point. Equipotential surface. The surface where electric potential is same at every point is called equipotential surface. So the region or surface where we will find the same electric potential, we will call that surfaces as equipotential surface. Potential gradient. Gradient means change. Potential gradient means change in potential. Now we are going to discuss this change in potential. Actually, it is the relation between electric intensity and electric potential. From the definition, the rate of change of electric potential with respect to displacement is known as potential gradient. So the change that we find in electric potential with respect to displacement is called as potential gradient. Consider two parallel charge plates A and B that are separated by a distance delta r. If a test charge Q 0 is placed between the plates, then an electrostatic force Q 0 E applied on it, which moves the charge downward towards the negative plate B. Here in this figure you can see two charged plates. One is positively charged plate and another is negatively charged plates. As we know that electric field lines initiate from positive charge and terminate at negative charge. So the direction of field lines is from positive charge towards the negative charge. The distance between these plates is represented by delta r. We have placed our test charge Q 0 here as plate A is positively charged and test charge is also positive charge. So plate A will apply force on this test charge, which is repulsive force, and plate A will try to move this test charge towards the plate B, which is negatively charged plate. To keep this charge in equilibrium state, we apply an external force which is opposite in direction to the force applied by positively charged plate A onto test charge. In figure you can see that this external electric force is opposite in direction to the field lines direction. An external force is required to maintain electrostatic equilibrium. So we apply force on that test charge to maintain equilibrium, electrostatic equilibrium. So it means that we do work on this test charge, then a work is done against the field, which can be calculated as W is equals to F dot del R. Dot product of force and displacement is equals to F del R cos theta. Here we put theta is equals to 180 degree because charge is moving against the field, and cos 180 degree is equals to -1. We get W is equals to minus F del R. Putting the value of F, we get W is equals to minus E Q 0 del R. Since electric potential difference between the plates can be calculated as delta V is equals to W upon Q 0. Putting the value of work done from above equation, we get del V is equals to minus Q 0 E del R divided by Q 0. Q 0 is cancelled by Q 0, and then we get del V is equals to minus E del R. E is equals to minus delta V divided by delta R. Negative sign shows that movement of charge is against the electric field. The negative sign indicates that the direction of field is opposite to the direction in which the potential increasing. Electron volt. When we move an electron from one point to another point, keeping the potential difference 1 volt, this electron will gain or lose energy that is known as electron volt. As we know that work done is equals to Q into V. Here Q is magnitude of charge and V is electric potential difference. As charge is moving, so it will have kinetic energy, which can be written as kinetic energy is equals to Q into V. Here Q is equals to E is equals to 1.6 exponent minus 19 coulombs because we have single charge, that is electron, and electric potential difference is equals to 1 volts. Putting values, we get 1 electron volt is equals to 1.6 exponent minus 19 into 1. Finally, we get 1 electron volt is equals to 1.6 exponent minus 19 joules. This is the smaller unit of energy.